All right, so day 33 going on, continuing forward. Let's just get straight into this. So, unfortunately, yet again, kind of just the theme at this point. No new photo, but I think at this day, I think I actually did have a valid reason. Again, not gonna really say as much as what happened, but let's just say I was stuck in the same place for roughly 6 hours. And during those 6 hours, there was no way I could have gotten out. And well, granted, I was out, but there was no way I could have went out and decided to take a photo. Right? Not today. And sadly, as it may be, not today. It's unfortunate, but I guess at this point we just have to rely on good old reliable. I guess. Now, believe it or not, when I was looking through my memory cards, I did say that I'm reaching an end point, or I'm having a crisis with my memory card situation. Basically meaning that, you know, I'm running out of photos to edit on or to rely on in the days that I don't get the opportunity to take a photo, right? But as I was looking through, believe it or not, there's actually a few that I would actually consider that's relatively okay. Like for an example, this one. It's like what, the fourth, fifth, or maybe even third time you've guys seen my dog now. But believe it or not, this was. I know I stated that there was a certain video. It was the photo of the what was originally the bridge, then it kind of cropped into the trees. I think that was a couple videos ago that I was saying that that's by far my earliest photo. Believe it or not, I think this was in the same week I got my photo. And for detail and for me learning, I mean, if we look at it, take kind of scan the photo, damn, I'm really kind of impressed with myself on how it came out. I mean, if we look here, what is it, ISO 500? Or what is it? No, 200, 300, no, 30 millimeter, 5.6, 100 of a second. I think it was pretty good. But back to what I was stating, that, kind of having a crisis. I'm kind of having a crisis right now as far as with my photos, and I'm reaching an end point with my memory cards. There's still some photos that I get to. There's still some photos that I get to edit, but like I stated last video, I think that should hopefully change tomorrow. I'm not gonna say more, but hopefully that should change tomorrow. Now, believe it or not, I actually looked at, well, in my free time, I like to look on Instagram Reels and mostly just look at, tips and tutorials with photography. If I click this button here off to the side with the tone curve, what was it? Here we go. All right. If I click here and then I scan the photo, exactly wherever my pointer is, it tells me on the graph or on the tone curve exactly what region will it be, or what region or where the point on the tone curve is gonna place. So if I were to, let's say for an example, if I wanted to affect, let's say, the black here on my dog, right? All I would have to do is click here, place my pointer here, and if I want to raise it or decrease it, whatever the case may be, so I can be yet again even more precise with what I'm trying to look for. And man, I tell you, this was a really good, and I mean really good, tip that I never knew. So are you gonna need it? No, probably not, because it's for very, very, very fine adjustments to the point that the average person would probably not care. But if you're into that, then that's for you, right? But anyways, now that I kind of got that tutorial session out of the way, I'm leaning more towards this photo being a little bit warmer. I know I've been stating for the longest times that I like to have a balance as far as with cool and warm colors, but since this photo originally, if we go before, was kind of already in, well, first off, we have the sun beaming on my dog, and then we kind of have the background as far as with the spotlight here, some sun rays. This photo already originally and off the bat was already going to be better off pushing the temperature more towards a little bit the warmer colors, and that's what probably color grading is going to come into play as well. But I don't want to do it too much, because doing it too much is also not a good idea. Now, what I'm doing right now is just really kind of making the grass a little bit more greener, maybe maybe a little bit of the trees. But as far as, it's not really too much of a big change. This may go on, as far as this may probably continue the trend of recent videos, as far as, not that many changes to begin with. Now, granted, do I like that these videos, or that these photos are coming out kind of bland and not much change is required? It's how can I say this? It depends. All right, if I was really digging the photo, and then as unfortunate as it may be that there wasn't more I can add onto it, then it is what it is. But I'll again, like I stated, I always love to keep on practicing Lightroom, to keep on quote unquote kind of prepare myself a little bit more, or to get more experience with Lightroom, right? It's like I stated yesterday, or I can't remember if it was the day before, watching videos and then actually doing it, or watching tutorials and then actually doing it, are two very different experiences, right? That's how I'm gonna put it, like that. Well, now that we got that, of course, like I stated, global is already off the bat gonna be towards the warmer. Although maybe with a little bit more hint of saturation wouldn't be a bad idea, but again, I don't want to overdo it too much. Maybe there I can see that we're overdoing it, so maybe just a slight decrease. So with shadows, I was here. Okay, maybe with shadows, just putting it towards the yellow side. It's very minor, you can't see it, and quite frankly, as I look at it, I'm actually going to reset that. I kind of don't like it. With mid-tones, you can barely see it, and ooh, believe it or not, where was it? I think with this one, we're going to have it towards the cool side, or the cool colors, so then that way here we can kind of have a nice blend, kind of not make him too orange, because he's already a little bit too orange to begin with. And with highlights, maybe if we were to kind of make, okay, so in highlights I can see that it's gonna mostly affect right here on where the sun is hitting him. Maybe we would wanna have it more towards orange, but also at the same time decrease a little bit saturation. Yeah, okay, there you go, I like that. So that way here, the sun kind of, in some way, shape, or form, blends in with his fur. Because if we were to remove the changes, or hide the changes we made on color grading, you see it was kind of white, but now it's kind of blended in. To, again, like I'm stating, the theme of this photo is really kind of towards the warmer colors, because that's how it came out. So I personally liked that change, so we're gonna leave it like that. Now, as far as with detail, since I'm very surprised how this came out, I don't think I would need any detail. I don't think so. So believe it or not, no detail is gonna be needed. Cropping, as I look at it, I don't think so. This already off the bat, I like what's in the frame. I like how he is kind of dead in the center, because we were to look at on the grid, I like how he's almost in frame, kind of in the center, so I like that. No need for cropping, in my opinion, although could try leveling. Let me make it better. No, we'll just leave it like that. There's no need to. Okay. And believe it or not, I don't want to add in a vignette in. No, since the surroundings are already kind of darkened, there's no need to. And plus, I already kind of like how that was. Or you know what? Like, okay, this is very, very minor, like to the point that is it really needed? But let me just increase. Let me just kind of increase this rose right here. Although it's not even, it's not even the main component of the photo. I still want it to be relatively color corrected, right? That way here it can look a little bit better. All right, now it's a little bit more. Now I kind of got a little life into it. All right, there we go. Now we should be good. All right. I don't want to say that's it because that was relatively kind of quick. But let's see if there's, okay, perfect. It perfectly masked out my dog. Now, beforehand, I would actually go in here and try to do any changes, but we're not gonna need that. What I'm gonna go to is to the curve, and this is where we're gonna utilize a lot of this new tip that I noticed. So, what? Okay, there we go. I don't know what was happening, but there we go. Now, I want to, of course, I want him to be relatively lit, but at the same time, I don't want him to be entirely too underexposed. So maybe just slight, I mean, very slight increase. That'd be shadows. And in all fairness, I'm seeing if there's anything else we can add on to him. Although I'm really also looking at the tone curve. It's really just going to be affecting I'm kind of in the shadow to black portion. And that's primarily what the tone curve consists of. So let's just see if I wanted to raise up the highlights just slightly. Okay, I think something like that. Okay, believe it or not, I actually liked how that came out. Well, okay. I don't know what happened. Please tell me that didn't affect it. Okay, it didn't majorly affect it, so we should be good. Okay, I think now we got that out of the way. All right, so believe it or not, I think, okay, I liked how that came out. Now, what if we were to select the background, just slight touches with the background. Maybe at this point we'll try again with tone curve to see what happens. So what I do want is I kind of do want this to be a little bit just very minorly, just slightly exposed. Not too much, but I just want it to be a little bit exposed. Maybe just another increase. Okay, well that's gonna be affecting it, so we'll just leave it like that. All right, so not with tone curve, so I guess we'll just go on to the basic section, maybe just increase slightly, or believe it or not, we're gonna decrease exposure, and we're gonna probably raise up, we're gonna slightly raise up highlights, shadows. Okay, shadows we're definitely gonna raise up, and then blacks we're just maybe just slightly decreasing it, very slightly. All right, well, I think that should be good. Now, again, with the norm, I'm gonna take a few minutes to see what else or any other changes I can add on to it. And if not, I'm gonna call it a day because I think that should be really all for today. I really didn't have much, again, not too many changes to begin with, but just minor adjustments. So I'll be here and seeing if I find anything else. All right, well, I kind of looked at it. Really, the only small, very minor, and I wouldn't be surprised if you guys even really notice a difference. With calibration down here, I just ever so slightly decreased the hue on red primary because, I don't know, personally, if we were to hide the changes, it's very subtle. But if we look on mostly the brown portions of my dog, it is very subtle, but it's kind of a little bit yellowish. Again, if we're hiding the changes we made now, if we were to undo that and actually show what it affected, it just made the brown just a little bit more balanced in some way, shape, or form. Again, very, very noticeable. In other words, we kind of decreased the warmth on the browns. That's basically what I'm trying to say. I was kind of going back and forth, maybe adding a vignetting effect, but more looking at it, like I stated, it wouldn't fit with the photo. Personally speaking, it wouldn't fit with the photo. So, and believe it or not, that is going to be it. Again, let's do before, kind of underexposed, not too much going on, and then after, kind of exposed the photo, made the photo a little bit more warmer. Who knows, maybe more looking at it, if we were to just, not to basic, but maybe the color grading, just raise up saturation ever so slightly. How will that affect? Okay, you know what, we'll just leave it like that. But yeah, that is really gonna be all for this photo. Again, it's probably, I don't know if you guys like this kind of short to the point, not too many adjustments photos or videos. Yeah, as unfortunate as maybe that's all the photos I got. But like I've stated, I'm going to some place tomorrow. I plan, I hope, and I'm sure I'm gonna try to take interesting photos that if it all goes right, it may come out really good. So again, if we look at the before, the original raw photo, underexposed, not too much to really work with, and then the edited photo, boom. Some minor changes, some may say, and I don't blame them. It really is just mostly exposing the picture, making just very fine adjustments, not too major adjustments to begin with. But that's kind of been the theme now for these past couple of videos, or ever since I'm starting the day 30, or I guess the new quote unquote era that I'm gonna call it, because although I did say that it's gonna be new changes, I'm treating this like if it's a new quote unquote era. Although, should I really be thinking like that? I don't know. Yeah, I'm just trying to experiment with right now, not just with, I wouldn't say right now with photos, but more with my videos, with my channel, what I'm including. I'm trying to experiment with that. I'm trying to kind of, in one way, shape, or form, upgrade, if that makes sense. But I'm mostly just trying to experiment. That's what I'm just trying to really say. So that's why I call it a quote unquote new era. Although some may argue that it's the same, just with minor changes. I wouldn't blame you. But that's kind of how the gist of it. Again, I'm gonna try my best. I really am, to take good photos tomorrow. I'm not gonna say what they're gonna be, but if there's any hint, I'm just gonna say one thing. They're gonna consist of mostly maybe landscapes, but not the typical landscapes we've gotten so far, or that I've edited so far. That's all I'm gonna say for tomorrow. I don't want to spoil too much, because hopefully, if I get enough, not just landscapes, but hell, maybe just I'll try to see what the hell I find tomorrow. That's all I'm gonna say. But other than that, I really don't got much else to say. I thank you all so much for watching, and I'll be seeing you guys hopefully tomorrow with hopefully some decent photos and decent behind the scenes footage on day 34.